And here we are. And here we are. Welcome to Ark. I've got some things to... By his own son, Nerazil, yeah. But roughly 2.5 years ago. He did, yeah. They're allies. You can imagine what kind of up... You can say what you want about him, but he never lost his charisma. You're telling me. But apparently their alliance has something to do with this red madness. I guess we'll see what... Alright then. If you're looking... If it's magical... Finally... But if all goes according to plan, you'll... Yeah. Not a place I'd recommend you visit. Great. Then see you later and enjoy your stay.
Hello. An adventurer, huh? I suppose that depends on how daring you are. I've got no intentions to become fodder for the wolves, so I haven't checked trade. Huh. That's a good question. Let me think. I'm not sure if this helps, but if you have the smithing skills and want to find some precious ore, you should check one of the mines there.
My sir, do you have a moment? I think the two of us could do business together. Well, it is actually quite simple, but since you were you travel a lot, don't you? I can tell by the mud on your boots. Here, one of these books might come in handy on your journeys. Which one do you prefer? They are, crafting books. I suppose you can call them that. Not that I would ever imply you'd do such a thing except in an old ruin, but you get the picture. Splendid! Say, would you happen to be interested in earning yourself some more coins? I have a problem, and this problem is called... You know, I am one of those people who wasn't given everything by fate. Quite the contrary, in fact. When I was a child, the village I grew up in, Foamville, was ambushed by bandits. And both my father and my mother died during the attack.
Thank you, but it's ancient history now.
Fact is, my sister and I dealt with this event differently. We managed to flee the attack and make it to Ark, where the guards, of course, threw us into the Undercity. But while I tried to honor my father's heritage by using the little I could from our savings by setting up a business, she preferred to wallow in her misery instead. She got to know the wrong people and has, since then, never done a single bit of honest work. Frankly, she's a dust addict. Day and night she does nothing else but rot in those drinking holes in the Undercity and blows what little money she makes.
Now, of course, she is still my sister, so all of these years I paid her rent so she doesn't have to sleep on the streets. However, things have changed. Recently she started using our father's heritage to pay for her addiction.
I certainly could, but the day a guard voluntarily goes into the Undercity is the day a Vartia will become a barber. The Undercity belongs to Relata, and Celia knows that. Well, technically it's our money. Basically, it was a share our father had in a small business here. He was so proud of it, you wouldn't believe. Luckily enough, I managed to save that paper from the bandits and turned it in at the bank a few years ago. Since then, it has turned into quite a formidable sum. Nothing huge, of course, but enough to save my business from bankruptcy. You understand? In theory, it is our money, but without me, she would probably have sold it.
Of course, you wouldn't know that. Glimmercap dust, the blue bliss, or however you want to call it. It's a drage, a dangerous one. Apparently, it makes you feel as if you're walking the eternal paths, but it also kills you quicker than the sunfire.
Oh, believe me, I did. Which is why she simply hid the key to our safe in the bank somewhere that I couldn't find it. So, long story short, this is where you come in. I want you to get her to give me that key. How you do it is up to you, but if you succeed, it won't be to your disadvantage. Anywhere there's rats and dust, but she spends most of her time in the False Dog in the Undercity, one of those dumps I told you about. Just come back to me once you've found something.
Yes? News. Where have you been these past moons? The whole city's talking about nothing else but the Mad Magister. 30 dead novices. Oh, boy. How could...
Blessings. A little bit of this.
May your path always be even.
Wait a moment. Only if you know what to look for. I'm one myself, so I do. Balhazel, pleased to make your acquaintance. Tell me, if you're new in this city, are you perchance also looking for work? Excuse me, what was I saying? I'm looking for a hand. Well, neither do you. But to answer your question, I'm Arizali, but third generation Arizali, so it doesn't show that much anymore. Apart from my name and my skin, there's little left of my roots, I'm afraid. Anyway, so what did you say? Interested in some well-paid, honest work? It's simple. I want you to find something for me. You know, I'm a healer, just like my father was, and my grandfather before that. When he came to this country, he did so because he had been hired by an Arca noblewoman, a bright lady who valued science and the arts of healing. In any case, my grandfather spent a large portion of life working for this lady in an old, abandoned fort near the now deserted village of Fogville. Together with a good dozen other apothecary, he planned for my father to succeed him. But before he had the chance to, the mushroom plague occurred. Yes, that one. The spores of those mushrooms have literally sucked all the life from the forest and its surroundings. Plus, they are a threat to everyone who comes close. It does seem likely, doesn't it? Both my father and I have asked my grandfather this question too, but he has always denied it. The plague was a magical phenomenon, a freak of nature, no more, no less. Those were his words. However, I've made some troubling discoveries which have led me to doubt that. I believe the plague might have been fabricated. Well, this is exactly what I want you to find out. Unfortunately, the noblewoman who my grandfather worked for has long been dead, and she was the last in their bloodline, so I couldn't find any answers there. But the old fortress where they worked still stands. Look at me, you'll have the answer. I'm old and far from made for the road to begin with. Furthermore, all those undead who've been roaming the wilderness since that red madness began don't exactly make the idea more inviting. But don't worry, if you succeed, I'll make it worth your while. Isn't that obvious? Because I want to understand. You know, we Arzalines believe in the debt of blood. If my grandfather committed a crime, it is my responsibility to atone for it. Plus, I believe that if there was a way to, well, to cure that plague, it is hidden within that fortress. Whatever harm the mushrooms can do, they can also reverse it. My father never cared much about all this, but I'm different. If there's one thing I want to achieve in my life, then it's clarity. Reports, scrolls, samples of their work, anything that could be of relevance. Just look around. Do you have a map? Here, the fortress should be in this area. Best you take Mira to Fogville. In the village harbour, there was a hut where my grandfather lived when he was off duty. Chances are you'll find a key to the fortress there. Good luck, and thank you. If you have found the material, you can find me in the Undercity, near the old waterworks. My laboratory is there. Yes, you should go into the Whisperwood and see what you can find in the old fortress. I'll wait for you in the Undercity, in my laboratory.
Information? What do you mean? Let me see. That's not very much, but fine. A couple of moons ago, I had a really strange guy as a customer. He wore 2 sabers, like those coal people do, but when he moved, he was really swift about it, like he was some kind of thief. I think he was an assassin, as they call them. Quiranian contract killers. You can hide within a fortress, but they'll find you. Somehow break into your room and kill you in your sleep. And unlike those everyday scroungers, they know how to wield a sword, like Lorem Waterblade did. Who knows? Maybe that'll help you.
Good pipe of peace.
What? That wasn't enough? Let me think. Yeah. There was that wench once, a farmer. She came running into the city as if chased by the Black Guardian and told the guards something about an ambush on her farm. Nothing unusual, you could say, especially nowadays, but apparently the bandits were led by a mage. And, well, if you can believe that farmer woman, she conjured the sunfire down from the sky. Green fire, lightning, the living dead rising from the ground, a wild mage. In other words, one of those sinistropes. But she also knew elemental magic like the keepers do. I wouldn't want to come across someone like her. No, I just...
Greetings. Do you need a potion to refresh your stamina, or are you a user of the arcane arts? I have all you'll ever need. Oh, how nice of you to ask. I can't complain. I suppose the wars in Calais and Kira make it harder to get your hands on certain wares. But still, life's good. Definitely more comfortable than my time on the road, though. What? No, I was a vagabond, as people like to say. A traveling mage. You know, I grew up in a village near Duneville. Actually, I had a pretty good childhood there. But when I discovered my magical gifts, well, let's just put it this way. It changed how people treated me, even my own parents. I just felt the need to, I don't know, get out, see some of this world. So after I did the passage to the water, that is, after the Order taught me how to use my magic path, I decided not to return to my village and packed my traps and hit the road. Kind of bold, yes, but back then, I didn't care. But I digress.
Apples, dates, bananas, the freshest fruits right from the
Hard.
coast and
The Arcanist
Duneville.
made it clear that we stood at the crossroads. Either we learn to control the magic, or we become outlaws. It was not a pleasant time, I can tell you that much. The keepers were extremely strict, and you learn to be independent, to not get too close to anybody. But no offense, that's a very personal topic. As I said, I don't want to talk about it.
Fruits,
Sorry.
vegetables, bread fresh from the oven. Treat
Well,
yourself.
they weren't exactly hostile to me, but it was the small things. Looks, talk going on behind my back. Over time, that just gets to you. But you know, I don't think I can blame them. Especially with the village folk. The word magic is always mentioned together with wild magic, Orbeus, and devastated cities. And all of a sudden, here I am, suddenly one of them who can do those things, even though I don't have Eterna blood. How is that supposed to fit into their worldview? They can't really know better. Well, that's one of the upsides of being an Arcanist. You don't need to be a bulk of muscle to defend yourself against a pack of wolves. Plus, back in those days, the roads were safer by far. All these brigands, the frenzied Vatirs, the lost ones, that's new, for whatever reason. I probably made it sound worse than it was. I've heard that on Niram, magically gifted people get driven out of their village, or worse. I guess I should consider myself lucky.
Why is that stuff so expensive?
Sure.
Walk blessed. What can I do for you?
Potions, anything for friends of
What, you're asking me? I'm flattered. But let me think. You know, my grandfather always used to read to us from this old book, Myths and Legends. I think one of the former Archmagisters of the Order wrote it, and there were all kinds of tales about those mythical creatures that apparently roam Enderal. Grandpa always said they were just tales, but who knows? You should go to the library. Maybe they still have a volume of that book there. Honest answer? Bad. Since this whole red madness thing started, the roads aren't safe to travel anymore. At least, not for those who don't have the coin to pay an armed escort. And that's most of us merchants. But, well, you scratch along somehow, don't you? As long as people eat and the farmers deliver, I'll have customers. I really shouldn't complain so much. May your path always be...
Well, look who's arrived. Did you have any problems finding your way around? This city can be quite a maze if you don't know it.
The freshest fruits right from the farmer's coast and Duneville.
Right, you're from Ostian. I almost forgot. They're quite fascinating, these places, aren't they? You can climb high, and you can fall just as deep. And every place vibrates with life.
Many of you may have heard it already. There's war in Kira. A group of honorless heretics.
Here, put this on. And before you ask, yes, it's necessary. Just trust me.
Of limitless
So, about this fever. Usually those gifted with magic have to report their talent to the Order, and then pass a ritual that teaches them how to deal with their magic. The journey to the water is what they call it. Once they've passed that, the fever reduces to an endurable level, and new alchemists have their names registered in some kind of holy book. But there are other ways to get rid of the fever, and I hope my employer can tell you about them. Okay, almost there.
Is this important?
Hold it, my sir. No civilians beyond this point without explicit permission. Who are you, and what leads you to this holy place?
Business. I'm Jaspard Elveric, and I work for the Naramese mages.
Oh, right. The mercenary. And who's your companion?
Marijo de Luna from Ostian, esteemed holder of de Luna's Empire of Tender Fragrance, the most prestigious perfumery in all of Vin. Archmagister Marigil sent for him. Didn't he tell you?
The Archmagister. Well, that does sound like him. Fair enough, you may pass. But show this place the respect it deserves, mercenary. You too, Maestro de Luna.
You have my word, fair lady. Thank you.
You may pass.
But treat this place with respect, Outlander.
Well, that went better than expected. Hey, it worked, didn't it? That's all that matters. Nobody will suspect someone who's already in the temple. Anyway, I think it's about time I tell you a little bit more about this employer of mine. His name is Constantine Firespark, and he's one of Narathzor Orenthiel's former followers, which the new Grand Master, Tealor Orenthiel, brought here by ship about 2 years ago. That means he's one of the former arch-enemies of the Order. They usually wear green, while the Order wears white or red. That should make it easy for you to tell them apart. Firespark's pretty much the eldest of Narathzol's mages, and quite well versed in magic, at least from what I've heard. Plus, he's a very gentle and likable fellow, which is why even the keepers like having him around. Let's hope he can tell us a thing or two about these visions, and help you get rid of the fever. Come, follow me. Huh?
I'm not sure.
Alright, here we are. Hang on.
No. That's not how you do it.
Blast it! I'm just being careful. We have
Like
to.
heck we do. Give me that thing, now. Ouch. Blasted, blistering blazes. That's what you get for working with fumblers. I told you, we should...
Master Firespark.
What? Now who the heck are you? Can't an old man have a moment to himself?
You hired me. The Magister, don't you remember?
Oh, right. Joseph the Scrounger. So why are you here? Had any luck?
Just spar. And yeah, we did find something.
Suggest you first of all tell me when I allowed you to drag your drinking mates up here. Do you need me to explain the meaning of the words highly and confidential to you?
I'm sure there's a lot you can explain to me, but let's save that for later. This particular fellow over here needs your help, to be frank. Arcane fever.
Is that so? And what exactly has that got to do with me? Let the keepers and their holy rituals take care of it. What is it with the costume, anyway?
This man's magic is different, Meiser. Just feel his aura and you'll see it. Plus, he's from Nara, just as you are.
Well, all right then, for nostalgia's sake. I really hope you're not wasting my time, though. Working with these religious buffoons is bound to make any rational thinking person go bonkers. Anyway, that chair over there. Take a seat, and I'll have a look at that fever of yours. All right then, this will tickle a little. No, you're right. This aura does feel different. Complex somehow and powerful. And do you really want to tell me you've only recently discovered that talent of yours? With that aura, I'm surprised that you haven't turned into an Obaya by now. Fine. Well, that is, we will help you. But first, tell me everything. How you got that magic, and how you met that scrounger.
Let's hope he knows what he's doing.
I see. Regarding this vision thing, I think that your mind simply played a trick on you there. Not that it's much of a surprise, considering what you've been through. Actually, you were quite lucky that the sudden outburst of your glance didn't blow your head right off. By all that's holy, I won't start playing your tutor now. If you don't know about the basic functioning of magic, then read something from Ballador Goldenstein.
The glance on the sea of eventualities. Alongside, but apart from the reality we're in right now, exist countless other realities, in which some events have different outcomes, so to speak. A version of this very same room, for example, with the very same people in it, only that Meiser Firespark's beard is on fire. And what defines an arcanist, someone capable of magic, is that he or she can see those other realities and let parts of them come true.
Well, look at that, Jasper. You surprise me.
That's what I'm being paid for.
How powerful an arcanist is depends on 3 factors. How far away are the eventualities that he can see, how well he can bring parts of them into our reality, and finally, how well his mind can handle seeing other realities simultaneously with ours. Lighting a candle is easier than calling a meteor from the sky, to speak plain in Al, but as I said, read Goldenstein if you're interested in the topic. I'm not going to waste any time with lectures. Well, if that's what you want to believe, go for it. I, in any case, have never come across such a phenomenon in over 50 years of studying magic. And now we should...
It all begins with the dreams.
What the blasted blistering blazes? Does this room look like the bosom of a whore to you? Or what makes you think you can go around touching anything you get your fingers on? These documents are confidential, for heck's sake. I knew it was a mistake to hire a thug like you. Lashery always had a weakness for...
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember you telling me something about dreams that led you and Tealor Renthiel here, didn't you, Meiser? And you told me that in this vision of yours, the Veiled Woman said this. It all begins with the dreams.
What? Is that true? Oh. Then this near-death experience you had before you woke up on the shore... Tell me again, what exactly did you see in it? A room?
Wherever you look, where is this supposed to lead?
Well, this is strange indeed. Anyway, for now all that matters is that we get that magic of yours under control. Whatever you clairvoyanced back there is of no use to us if you're dead as a doornail in a couple of months. Well, that's usually a plodding process. The fever you feel is a result of your mind not being able to handle all of these possibilities, so to speak. The ritual the Enderalians practice to get the glance under control is called the Journey to the Water. Put frankly, it means 1 year of hour-long meditation, bland food, and abstinence from anything that makes life worth living. In due time, the Arcanist then learns to filter these other realities from ours, and the fever gets less and less. Anyhow, luckily enough, we Neremes know of a way to quicken that process. A shortcut, if you will. I'm not capable of performing it, but another one of us is. Her name is Lashery, and you should seek her out as soon as possible.
Let's hope he knows.
There is indeed, and this reason is called ignorance. The Order's rituals haven't changed since the Lightborn slipped out of their cradles, and the Keepers do their best to keep anything progressive out of their country. But please, if you're up for a year of austerity and stern-faced magisters scolding you, go for it. I really don't care. She's currently in a ruin called Old Rashengrad, not far from Ark. Just tell her that I sent you. Give me that map of yours. Okay, now you'd have to be a total idiot to miss it. I recommend leaving for the ruin straight away. And you, Joseph, you're going to come with me and show me what your trip to the Sun Coast brought forth. Hopefully more than a bottle of honey wine and a hangover.
Quite a character, isn't he? But I like him somehow. Here, I owe you this for your help back in Riverville. And in case you're in the mood for a mug of ale and a good chat, just drop by the Dancing Nomad in the Stranger's Quarter. I'll get myself a room there for the time being. With all that said, good luck mastering your magic, my friend. I'll see you around.